everybody. Welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. We are so excited to be here today. And we have one of our biggest Hall stars here. We're so excited to talk with him again. And we have Paul Greene here. Paul, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
You're welcome. So Hall star, is it? Is that what you call us? The
That's
the
right.
Hall stars?
That's right.
Like Hallmark star? Is that what it is? Because I'm one of your biggest, like, you mean I weigh the most, the tallest?
You're just the one of the biggest stars of When Calls the Heart. So yeah, that's why you could be a hearties star as well.
Yeah, it's so fun to be here. So tell me a little bit about your podcast. You guys like movies. You like talking about movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like,
well, I'm a film critic, and I also like Hallmark movies. And I started this podcast with my friend Amber in 2017 to just have a fun place to talk about Hallmark movies and the shows. And people seem to like it, so we kept doing it. And now we have there's 7 of us co-hosts that all cover different topics, and we have so much fun. And cool. It's kind of taken over my life, but I'm glad that it did.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Do you have a favorite movie out there, or is it too hard to pick?
Favorite Hallmark movie?
Yeah.
One of my favorites is Trading Christmas, which is kind of an old one. It's from not old, but it's from 2015 with Tom Cavanaugh in it. And it's really funny and it's charming, and I like it.
Oh, that's cool. Tom Cavanaugh's great. He had his own show for a while, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and he's on The Flash, and he's just so charming. So really love Christmas in Angel Falls.
That was an interesting movie because it almost was it on the Mystery Channel or the regular?
Mystery. Miracle of Christmas.
That's when we first got the script. It was such a special script, and believe it or not, they took away some of the charm. Like it was even more mystical. They made it a little bit more Hallmark, which I get, but it was like. It had some interesting twists, and it was like a little bit more like angels and stuff going on. And then they kind of made it I think they brought it a little bit more into the Hallmark kind of universe, which was okay, but the first version of the script was even better, at least from my perspective. Maybe not from a producer's perspective, but it was cool.
I always kind of joke that Hallmark loves these men with many jobs. Like these guys who can do just a little bit of everything, and that's the big contrast to the man of business. That's really and that your character in that movie was a prime example of a man with many jobs. Like pretty much every scene you were doing a different job.
That's true. I've never been a man of business, like a guy I've always been the guy that gets the girl, which is kind of, I think it's in my contract. Yeah. I'm like, I will play it if I get the girl. Just kidding. It's not. Well, it's not, but it should be.
This isn't a Christmas movie, but one of my favorites of yours that I think is very underrated is Anything for Love.
Oh my gosh. It's the best. It's the best one. Like the reason it's underrated is because it's more theatrical in the sense that it's like, it doesn't follow your exact Hallmark formula, I think. And it's so quirky, like with our, with Ali Lieber and Patrick Gilmore. They're so talented. Patrick's gone on to do Travelers and a bunch of amazing things. And of course, Erica, for me, I think she's my favorite I've ever worked with because, I loved her in Parenthood, and she brought that so spontaneous and in the moment that I forgot I was acting half the time because she's so present with me, and she's not trying to do it a certain way, or she doesn't know how to do a Hallmark movie. She just knows how to act. And
it was so refreshing to have a Hallmark movie that kind of tried to tackle gender roles and how we kind of see each other, especially when it comes to dating, and both your characters I thought were really good, and we did it we have this series once a month where we call it On Friendship, where we have Lisa Lucas, who's a PhD in communication and particularly with friendship. Anyway, so we come at it from sort of a broader relationship status instead of a romantic angle, and we had such a great conversation about that movie. It was one of my favorites.
And Barbara Curry, the woman who wrote it's a lawyer. She's not a writer, and she also wrote The Boy Next Door, which I think cost $4 million to make and made something like $200 million with Jennifer Lopez.
Oh, really?
Yep. and we're trying to get her to write the sequel, but she's busy writing another like Navy thing, so it's hard to get. I really want to produce and be a part of the sequel, where Anything for Marriage, or like where her and I actually go through the next little phase and have to work through again me being a nurse and her being a billionaire. Like what does that look like when it gets married? And there's so much comedy, I think, to be played there, or to be enjoyed. And she's freaking wonderful. And the producer, Ryan Murphy, had became a good friend of mine. Just loved working with him. And like Barbara Curry sent me another script that I wanted to do really bad, but I think it got sold and someone else is doing it. Just an amazing idea. And she's a lawyer. She's like a prosecutor, and she just has this knack for writing. Barbara Curry.
That's cool. Yeah, I wondered about that because she doesn't have that any other Hallmark credits, so I was curious about her. So that's cool. Well, we're in favor, and we like it. But so you have, I mean, not to get too personal, but we have to ask you, you've got a very exciting new little one coming any day now, right?
Literally any day. Yeah. I mean, it could be happening right now for all I know.
It could be when we air this, it could be here. They could be.
Well, we're having him at home. We got the house ready, and the music's playing, and the doula and the midwives are ready, and the firewood and the fireplace is ready, and to boil the water. Because we're going to go without electricity. We're just going to boil water I'm just kidding. We are doing it the midwife way, but we're not going to boil the water with a fire. But we are very much hippies in a sense. I mean, I'm barefoot as we speak. But I'm really excited about not going to a hospital, God willing, unless there's some complication. But Kate's super healthy. This baby's he's in a great position. We have a really skilled team helping us of midwives, and there's 4 on the team plus the doulas. Been involved with hundreds of births, and the midwives done thousands. So when it comes down to it, the last thing I want is somebody to go, 85% of people who go to hospital get a C-section, and that's not the experience we're looking for. We'll labor here for 24 hours if we need to. I mean, God willing, it'll come a lot quicker. But my son was born naturally as well, Oliver, 18 years ago. So I've been through it. I delivered my son. I caught him and was. So I have the stomach for it.
That's awesome.
And I have the patience for it, and I'm so excited to do it all again, and to hold to hold the little guy, and to get a chance to, he's been hearing all my concerts too, just obviously inside the belly, but once he's born, I'm going to keep him sort of in the room near the door so it's not too loud for him, but to get him just around, because I go live 3 times a week with my music, and I'm probably going to slow it down with him, but I want him around my music too. So
that's great. Yeah, I can relate to your older son, because my mom had a baby when I was 18. So I know what that's like. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So you excited?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about you talked about your music. So you have an album coming out?
Yeah.
And why don't you tell us about it?
Okay. What do you want to know about it?
So it's a country album?
Yeah, it's recorded in Nashville, so the sounds are more country than my previous record. It's Americana though, but it leans, it's got pedal steel, and it it has some country sounds. But it's my 5th album, but my 2nd in the last couple of years, and these are just songs I've been playing a lot with during my lives over the last 19 months. I've done 350 live concerts. Yeah, so I've been doing lots of those, and that's how the music sort of came about. And I just released Waves of Time, which is a song. Do you ever watch One Calls the Heart?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you know the song I sang in there for Faith?
Oh yeah.
So I turned that into a song, like a song, and that was my first release. And then the second one is Home, which is coming out day after tomorrow, and then the third one will be Open My Heart, and then the full record drops right before I go to Christmas Con. So yeah, it's a exciting journey. I'm really, really proud of it.
It's great. Do you have any country music influences that
Yeah,
you
I
feel?
mean they're not specifically country. There's some country in there, like, but they're more like Neil Young's an influence, Leonard Cohen's an influence,
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Cash is an influence. Bob Dylan's a big influence. Nobody like really. I mean, I guess there'd be some older school, Waylon Jennings, or just some hearing a few things growing up. I grew up with gospel though. There was no almost zero secular music in my house, so
Mm.
my influences are more gospel quartet music, but it's not. So when I do my concerts, I sort of build 4-part harmonies with my looping pedal, and yeah. So, but those are my main influences: Neil Young and those ones I just
Cool.
shared.
Do you write your own songs or work
I
with
sure
songwriters?
do.
Yeah.
I write my own. There's one on this record that was sent to me from Paula Waters, and I've been playing some. Do you know what a murder ballad is?
Mm.
Like Johnny Cash would write, like Folsom Prison's kind of a murder ballad.
Mm.
Do you know that song?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's a guy named Coulter Wall that I was playing, and then one of my
Oh,
then Paula sent some lyrics, and I put some music to it. So there's one song in there that I co-wrote. She wrote the lyrics, and I wrote the song too. And then I went and recorded it in Nashville.
oh, cool. Great. Well, I look
Yeah.
forward to that. That'll be neat.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm really proud of it. It's got a there's 13 tracks on there.
mm-hmm. Cool.
Ho, ho, ho! We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast, especially at Christmas?
Do you enjoy the holiday previews, recaps, interviews, and bonus episodes?
If the answer is yes, please consider supporting the Hallmarkies Patreon. We need your help to do what we do both during the Christmas season and all year round.
But not only do you help a podcast led by strong, independent women by becoming a Patreon, you get to become a part of the Hallmarkies family.
Starting at only $2 a month as a patron, you will have access to our Facebook Patreon group where we talk about the movies, shows, and more all year.
We also have many monthly patron watch-alongs with guests like Lacey Chabert, Natalie Hall, Paul Campbell, Mary Lou Henner, and more, giving their behind-the-scenes details of their films.
As a patron, you also have the chance to provide input into the podcast and even join us at different tiers.
So this Christmas season, spread some cheer to the Hallmarkies Patreon and become a member today. You won't regret it.
Go to patreon.com/hallmarkies to learn more.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
We finished up season 8 this year of One Calls the Heart, and we'll be starting season 9 next year. How did you feel about Carson's arc through season 8?
How do I feel about my arc through season 8? Sounds like a loaded question. How did you feel about the arc in season 8?
Well, I felt like Faith, it was more Faith. She was so wishy-washy. One minute she'd want you to go, next minute she wouldn't want you to go, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And like, you as a character were frustrated by that. And I as an audience member was also frustrated by it. And you're like, I thought you wanted me to go. And then you say, wait, you don't want me to go? I won't go. But then you do want me to go.
Yeah, it wasn't my favorite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
No, I mean,
it's fair.
yeah, it wasn't my favorite for sure. But it's a big cast, and there's lots of stories to tell, and lots of things going on. So
Yeah.
it's
There you go.
yeah.
And-
I think there's been better seasons for Carson for sure, in terms of like arcs and things to get to do. And but with COVID, everyone was doing the best they could, and and it was tricky with schedules and all kinds of things. And there was so yeah, it was there was lots of stories to tell, especially with the love triangle to wrap that up. And
Yeah.
and
How did you feel about that? Do you think they did a good job with the love triangle with Lucas and Nick and Nathan?
Dude, I'm not going to comment whether I think they did a good job, because these people are amazing at what they do, and there's so much involved that I don't know about, like how they have to make these, or how these decisions come about, or there's always going to be somebody unhappy about something. But John Tinker's a really great writer and a good showrunner, and it's impossible to make every fan happy. So
Sure.
it's these fans have been on quite a journey with the show, and I was happy to tell some stories along the way. I don't know if it's the end for Carson. I couldn't even tell you if there's more seasons or if I'm coming back. I really couldn't even tell you. Like it's all up in it's all up to the television gods as to all that. But I really am. I think that obviously they're doing. I'm sure even the fans that are like, I'm never watching it again because they wanted Nathan or whatever. It's just like, where are they going to go? Like, there's no show quite like it, and they love the other characters. And one thing that's really been great is some of the other characters that have been a bit the stories have been smaller were bigger in this 8 and 9. I think some of the characters that have been in the town for a very long time, and I think it's really great that they're getting their time on camera and getting their stories told. So and there's it's a huge cast. It's a daunting task to have every actor happy, and then the fans happy, and then the network happy, and it's pretty much impossible. And we have one of the best experiences of a set ever, meaning everybody likes each other, and it's unheard of how well we get along as a show and a cast. And so I hope I get to go back and tell some more stories, but I just, there's a lot of movies that I have to tell as well. Like I really love doing the movies. And so I haven't been able to do them because of not just the schedule, but COVID,
Right.
Traveling back and forth, and then having, pregnant my partner is pregnant, and all kinds of things, and so there's looking I'll always want to be a part of the show in some way. Not sure what that looks like in the future, but we're in conversations about it, so who knows how. I love Hallmark's been my home for the last 7 years, and there's always they're really they're very good at what they do, and so if things don't necessarily work out in the moment the way you think they should, there's always really cool things coming, and I'm excited about what's coming with the network and with the stories I get to tell, because I love this channel, and I love the people I get to work for.
Great.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, hearty, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies.
So you have the Christmas CEO coming up film.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
So my character and Marisol's character were kids, and we both were toy makers as kids, and it shows us, there's actually a really cool scene at the beginning where it shows us as little kids, obviously actors pretending they're us. And then it picks us up later, and she's become CEO of a big toy company, and my character is just working at his dad's thrift store, repairing toys in like a toy hospital. And so my character haven't talked in 7 years when we pick us up, and so there's lots of tension and lots of comedy and so much Christmas. And it's a great script, one of the best scripts I've read, to be honest. And one of my favorite projects I think I've worked on so far. Maybe Anything for Love is the only other one that is up there in terms of just how enjoyable. The two films I did with Ron Oliver, Christmas Detour and Perfect Match with Danica, were it's hard to beat those, because I loved working with Danica and Ron Oliver so much, and those scripts, people love those, like especially Christmas Detour. Like people stop me on the street for Christmas Detour.
It's a really fun one. That one's one of my favorites too.
Is it? Well, I was waiting for you at the beginning when you were saying your favorites. I'm like, I think you're missing something, Rachel.
I'm so rude.
Hello, Christmas. We're going to take a detour to Buffalo and remember what film you like.
Yeah. No, I really did. That one's funny. I like her vision boards and her, and then the family. His family is so a lot.
Her family.
No.
Oh, his Mark Ronson or Mark. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Barbara Niven. They played them so well.
Yeah.
The Christmas CEO is really there's a lot of tear jerky moments. It's really funny at moments as well. And our director Jonathan Wright was just epic. He created such a fun environment for us to play in, which is my favorite So yeah, it starts with a good script, and the story's unique. It was the CEO of Build-A-Bear that came up with the story and pitched it to a writer named Anna White. And then there's a real charity connected with Toys for Tots where Hallmark and Build-A-Bear are actually giving money to Toys for Tots in real life, but it's also in the movie that I do a toy drive for Toys for Tots.
Okay.
And Toys for Tots needs some help this year because of the shortage of the shipping thing, but. So it's neat. There's some cool tie-ins like that. It was nice to be back in. It's my first time filming in Ottawa, which was neat. I'm Canadian, and it was neat to be there. There was the election while I was there, so it was neat to be in Ottawa.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah, and it must be nice working with Marisol.
Yeah, Marisol's great. I'd never heard of her before. I don't watch Riverdale, but and I didn't see Saw. She was in the latest Saw movie.
Oh yeah.
She was terrific. She was like I said before, she's up there like with the Erica Christensen in terms of her spontaneity and authenticity, and like she's a really good actor.
Mm-hmm. Well, it sounds like it has a little bit more kind of humor. It's a little bit lighter than some of the other, a little bit more
I would
silly.
say, I mean, it's got the heart moments too, though. There's some real heart-wrenching things that go down between her and I. But there's a good amount. I'd say there's a good amount of comedy. I had a really good time. I just let it rip the whole time. So.
Oh, good. That's good. Yeah. So I was going to ask you, you have gotten into sort of the podcasting, YouTubing space since with the pandemic.
Yep.
What has that been like for you?
Well, I've been wanting to, I love having conversations with other actors about acting, and then health people about cutting edge ideas for longevity and wellness. And I knew I wanted to interview a few people, and I had just been spending a lot of time in my studio making music, and I'm like, what? And I was in Vancouver, my best friend was visiting, and I said, let's record a podcast, and that became it. And then I came up with the name, The Grass is Greener, where it's from the quote, the grass is greener where you water it. People think the grass is greener on the other side, but it's really how well you nourish and take care of the things that you love is the grass is not greener on the other side. It's greener where you water it. So The Grass is Green with Paul Greene, and I'm on season 2 now. I have episode 13, 14, 15 ready to go that I've just finished Travis Van Winkle recently. So it's on the run, and I do some on the road. I do some, I have a lot of friends that I find are really interesting, and I just wanted to share some of their wisdom with the world, and create another business. Podcasting, when it's done right, can become a very good career. I have a few brands that I'm working with that I like as an affiliate. So I'm an entrepreneur, Rachel. So
Nice.
and I love talking and listening and learning. I spend hours a day learning, like whether it's reading or watching lectures or videos, or and so one cool way to do is, and I reach out to people that are pretty big and say, you want to be on my podcast? And my reach has really grown. Meaning I have quite a large download per episode now that we're cruising along. So yeah, it's fun, and
That's great.
it's a good way for me to spend time with some of my friends who I haven't got to see because of COVID too.
Hmm. That's good. Yeah, it certainly has helped me to be able to. I mean, I can't imagine how I would have gotten through the pandemic without that ability to interact and to talk to people
Yeah, and the
virtually.
YouTube part of it is like I switched from just doing Facebook and Instagram to YouTube, and realizing that it's if it's done right, it's a really great space also to grow in. Like it's also as a business as well. And I mean, I learn everything on YouTube. It's such a search engine. Like and so um, learning how to capture live sound has been the biggest challenge. Is like, how do I get good music, like the feeling and the sound to go through
Hmm.
YouTube? And it's been a bit of a journey for that.
Yeah, yeah, but that's also part of the fun of it, I think, is the learning that you get along the way.
Yeah.
Like just yesterday, I learned a technique on Photoshop. I learned more about Photoshop and making the thumbnails better. And like every day, I you learn something new, which I think is really fun about the job.
I agree. Now, is your background a virtual one or is that actually painted there?
So this is yeah, it's a virtual one. We have them on our website. If you go to hallmarkiespodcast.com Zoom backgrounds, we have an artist, Jessica Miller. She did there's three different backgrounds that we gave as a gift to our fans last year, but they're still
Oh,
there. So
but it doesn't look like you're cut out of it. Do you have a green screen or something?
yeah, I do.
Yeah. Oh, because it's perfectly drawn out around your chair.
Right. Yeah. So I have I'll show you.
Oh, that's why. You have a real, like mine would pick up those lights and yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh,
Uh,
that's a really good green screen. It like really works.
thanks. Yeah, you can get them on from Amazon. The I got the whole kit, my lighting kit and the green screen. Very good.
What else do you like to do that makes you excited?
Well, I mean, I'm a film critic, so I love going to the movies and seeing movies. That's
In
one.
have you gone to any in the theater lately?
Yeah, I actually going to one tonight. I'm going to see the new Ghostbusters tonight. And yeah, I go to multiple screenings every week as part of my job, and it's really fun.
That's great. Did you
Mhm.
like Dune?
I did. I'm not the biggest sci-fi person, so it's not
Okay.
really my thing, but I thought it was well done for what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I loved it. I like
Yeah.
sci-fi though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I really liked Belfast. I thought that was excellent. I think that might win Best Picture. It was good.
Uh,
I recommend that.
is it streaming or only in the theaters?
Only in theaters right now, but I'm not sure, where we'll go after that, but which
Belfast.
streamer. It's very
Who-
good.
Who's
Actually,
in
it might be Netflix. Now that I think about it. I don't know.
who's in it?
It's Kenneth Branagh. He directed it. Well, he's not in it. He directed it and wrote it about his childhood in Belfast, Northern Ireland, and it's got Jamie Dornan and Catriona Balfe and from Outlander, and they're both great as the parents, and this adorable little boy, so cute, and it's got Judy Dench
Oh
and
my gosh, I wonder if it's looking for a hot date before the little baby comes and
yeah,
my
you should.
girl
Oh, it'd be a great date movie. It's so sweet.
my girl loves Outlander, so she'll love that
Oh
chick.
yeah,
Oh, it's at the dine-in. Ooh,
there
ooh,
you go.
ooh, ooh. It's like where you lay flat. They're like lay flat seats,
Oh
and I like that.
yeah,
I'm
you have
gonna.
to let me know what you think. I really enjoyed it. It was very, very, very fun. And
We'll have to see.
what else have I really? I loved Tick Tick Boom. You'll like that movie. You should watch it. It's about Jonathan Larson, who wrote Rent, and his creative process, and I think you would really like it. It was very good.
Okay,
Andrew
tick
Garfield.
and Andrew Garfield's in it.
Yeah.
Tick Tick Boom. How come I've never even heard of it?
Yeah, I don't know if they've done the best job with the marketing, but that one is Netflix. But
Oh,
if
Tick
you,
Tick Boom is on Netflix?
I'm not sure if it's there yet or if it's coming. I'm not sure on the date, but I really enjoyed it.
We just saw Red Notice, which was very fun.
Hmm. I haven't seen that one yet,
That
but
was yeah,
and
that
then
was
Disney has a new film coming out on Thanksgiving called Encanto, which I've been able to see, and it's so good. I loved it. So if you like the animated,
what's it called?
called Encanto. It's really good. It's about a girl who is in a magical. It's about a girl who's in a family and they all have superpowers in Colombia. And there's this house called Encanto that kind of comes alive and has magical powers. Anyway, she's the only one in the family that didn't get a magical power. And so the story's kind of about her family, and it's got music from Lin-Manuel Miranda. It's very good. So put that on your calendar.
I'll put that in there. Yeah, we saw Hamilton in New York. He wasn't acting, but what I've heard, even the understudy's kind of better than Lin. Like Lin's amazing at creating it, but I've heard some of the other actors are even just as good, or
Yeah.
brought their own thing to it in
Right,
terms
right.
of like maybe they're better singers than Lin or something. But it
Yeah,
was
and actually Lin-Manuel Lin-Manuel directed Tick Tick Boom. So he's just everywhere this year.
Lin-Manuel directed Tick Tick Boom.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Anyway,
Well, it
yeah, so
sounds like
that's what I love to watch movies. That's my release. So.
I have a short film that when it's ready to be critiqued, I'll send it your way for a little critique.
Okay.
It's in the festivals now.
Oh.
I'm selected for 3 different festivals currently.
Oh, cool.
It's a film I wrote, directed, and shot in Paris.
Oh, cool.
Hmm.
Great. Well, thank you so much for coming on and talking with us. This was a lot of fun. I
You're
really
welcome.
enjoyed catching up, and congratulations on the baby. That's going to be so exciting. So hope everything goes well, and hopefully we can have you back on again
So-
another time.
Sounds great. Yeah, people look forward to Christmas CEO on Black Friday, which is November 26th. I think it's at 5 or 6 p.m. or something like that. And then my album will be fully out on the 3rd of December. And then if you're going to Christmas Con, I'll be playing Christmas convention in Jersey. I'll be playing my album there, a lot of it there. So yeah.
Cool. Great. Yeah, we'll have all that information in the description, and if people want to follow you on like social media.
My website's the best place to go because my newsletter's there, and all the there's pop-ups there that share about the countdown to the album release or new single, and it's so paulgreene.com, just my name with the E, Paul Greene with the E.com. But I'm Paul Greene official everywhere, pretty much, except for Twitter's Paul Greene Media. But my website, paulgreene.com, has kind of the most goodies on it. Lots of snacks.
Great. Well, definitely y'all should check it out. Thank you so much for your time, and hope you have a very, very Merry Christmas.
All right, Rachel. Right back at you. Say hi to Cami for me, would you?
I will. I will.
All right, bye.
I would like to thank Paul for coming on the podcast. It was so much fun to get to talk with him. Make sure you check out all his content, and you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. Please check that out. Also, make sure that you're following the podcast at Hallmarkies Pod, Hallmarkies Podcast, all of our social media. And if you're listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. That really helps us out so much. And if you are watching on YouTube, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that so much. We also have our Patreon group and merch store. And thanks so much, everybody. I'll talk to you later. Bye.